So
You guys should be out so that you know.
does it work? Yeah. So so we can start.
Yep.
So good morning. So today I'm going to speak about the drought in California. This part of this presentation is with my personal research diploma project that I've done during this year with Mr. Kamin. It's a research paper of around 20 pages. And so today I want to speak about a little bit how the drought has affected the SLO County during those 5 years of drought. So first I'm going to try to define what is a drought. The drought, we know that it's occurring now, but it's pretty hard to define like by a simple sentences. So I will also speak about what are the different categories of drought, also what are the intensities. So like if you see in the newspaper a map of the US monitor that explains what is a part of a drought so you can know what is it about. Then I will speak about what are the effects of the drought, like how it has happened, how it has occurring with the level of the lake. Also, like what are the solutions, because that's something that is really important for the future. We need to find solution to find more water. So I will speak the biggest part of my project is about the solution, about water conservation, so new sources of water. And then I will speak about how to be ready for another drought, or how to find answer for this drought that it will really end for the county. So what is a drought? The drought is an abnormally long time period of low rainfall. So that means that it doesn't rain enough to cover all the needs of the population. We can classify the drought in 4 categories. The meteorological, like the weather doesn't have enough rain, it's not raining enough compared to normally. Then we have the agricultural one, so the drought impact on the agriculture, like there is not enough rain for the field. It's connected to the meteorological drought. There is also the hydrological drought that is more about how it is in the body of water, if the lakes have enough water, or if there is also if the streams still have water, or if it's empty. And then the last type of drought we can say it's the social economic. It's how it impacts the population and also the economy, like losing jobs or like finding new way of drinking water. And also we can classify those the drought with from D0 to D4. D0 means that it's an abnormally drought, and D4 means that it's an exceptional drought. So that is a map of last week that is done by the US monitor. So we can see California, that this color means the D4 category. So that means that it's exceptional drought. So we can see that it's not as big as it was, but it's still here in the county of San Luis Obispo over there. And also we can see that since the El Nino event that happened during winter, this winter, we can see that the north part is not in an extreme drought at D3 category. So when it's white, if you see in the US monitor, it means that there is no drought. If it's yellow, that means that it's a D1, that's a D0 category, abnormal drought. And then it goes to, if it goes to the red, it means that it's going to be worse. And the last category is a D4 category. Now we go on the San Luis Obispo County. So on this map, so I take the big one and I just zoom on it. So we can see that all the county is between an extreme, D3 category, and an exceptional D4 category drought. So that means that it has really a lot of impact. And that most of the county is in D4 category. That means that it's really impacted by the drought. The main sources of water of the county are the reservoir. We can see on this little map the four major reservoirs of the county: Nacimiento, White Rock, Salinas Reservoir called Santa Margarita Lake, and Lopez Lake. There is also, so those four are the major source of water. Then there is the groundwater that is taken not by the city service, water service. It's more done by agriculture that are around, that are not near the city, or also people that doesn't live in the city. And the last one is recycled water. This recycled water is a good technology. It's used the water that is, I will speak more about it in the solution to explain you more, but the problem with that, with recycled water, it is actually not well used. Like for example, in San Luis Obispo, they have it in the water system, but they only use it when it's winter, when it's rain, because in summer they don't have enough rain to put in the creek with the environmental agreement, so they need to put the recycled water down on the stream. So it needs to be improved, and so it will be better later. And also on my survey that I hope some of you take, so I asked you, when did the drought start? Most of people told me 2011, then some 2010, some 2011, and other 2012. To really so if I take the drought monitor of August 2011, we can see that the drought started in the southern part of the state. That is normal for summer, but this one is like between July and August. We can see that it started in California, but for the county that it's really started, it's only in January 2012 that we can see on the county here that it started to be here on it. So we can say that it started in 2012 for the drought, even if it was an abnormal drought. And I just want to show you how worse what it was in August 2015. So you can see the difference for the county if we focus on the county. And so we can see that it has improved. I will show you back at the end of my presentations a little math. But so this extreme drought started. The extreme drought started around 2013. So we can see that the drought has started 2011. So the answer of the question would be 2011 to be exact. So what are the effects of the drought on the county? So I've been to the beach with my parents during spring break, and I take a picture of the hills. They were all green, and I went 2 weeks ago, and they were already they had turned gold. So that is normal for here. It's what people told me, but I find it interesting to see that even if we had rain a little bit, it didn't help for the hills. So we can see that it's still needed to have some water for the grass that the environment is good. So it was just to show you a little picture of real impact, and that the drought has not ended yet. Also, the major source of water for the 5 cities, it's Lopez Lake. So I've been there in January, and I took some picture. That was the level of the lake. It was at 28% of its capacity. So usually the elevation of the lake is over here, and it was down there. And like when you walk down here, you can see that it's like that, and with a lot of trash or like old stuff that were in the bottom of the lake. So that's really bad. And so I can show you on this little graph how it goes. So that is in 2012. So at the beginning of the drought, it was around 90%, and it went down, down, down until here. Today, it's at 28.9%. So it has been refilled a little bit, maybe 1 or 2% between January and now. Now it has already decreased. The actual capacity of the lake is the normal capacity of the lake is 45,000 acre feet, 1 acre foot is a water that a 3 household can drink for a year. And now the current one, it's 14,000 acre feet, and so that means that it's really low for the capacity, and that it's going to decrease because we know that the drought are still going on, and maybe in fall, if the drought continues, it will be that if the drought continues and it goes under 20% of its capacity over here, maybe it will impact all of you with a cut of 10% in your water use of every day. So it can be really important for you too. So it's something to look at it. And also I ask you some questions. I ask you what is the percentage of Lopezek. I'm really happy that half of the people knew that it was around 30%, and that or it was less. So that means that 75% of people knew that it was a little bit what it was or less. So they knew that they needed to spend less water. But I was surprised that at least 25% didn't think maybe when they took the shower where it comes from and how is the capacity of the lake. And also I asked another question: is a new reservoir needed? Most people, around 70%, told me yes. But the problem is that how do you want to create and where you want to create a new reservoir? That's pretty hard. And if you want to increase the dam, the problem is that you will need to collapse the previous one because those dams are not able to be raised. And so that's a problem. It may be that you delete your storage, and so we cannot do now because you won't have any water. So maybe in the future when it can be important. So I list some of the major effects of the drought. It said in the newspaper that, and with this Slough County, that it may be possible that the Slough County run out of water in 2 years. That means that the reservoirs are empty, or just a little capacity that they need to keep it inside the reservoir for the groundwater and also for the fishes and the environment that lives around. So that's one of the major impacts. Also, if we think about, maybe we can say, oh, if we don't have water, maybe that takes all from groundwater. But the problem with groundwater, as we have seen in the Central Valley, is that it creates subsidence. So that means that it creates gap in the aquifer. That's the water that is under the earth, under the floor. And then it makes the floor collapse, so you have a decrease in the elevation. So that's one of the problems. And also, during the drought in the 90s, St. Louis used a lot of groundwater, and they had trouble because then their water system was impacted with nitrate. And so that's one of the problems of groundwater. It's also possible that in June and July, big wildfire should occur here because a lot of trees are dead, and a little fire will create a big one. So that's something to be aware in June and July of this year. And also one of the drought was created here, maybe also the problem between the cities and the agriculture, because some people in the cities are like, why are you using so many water? You don't use it efficiently. And the people that are in the farm said, oh, the cities use too many. We grew their food, and we need to do it, or we won't trade. And California is a big exporter of fruits and also meat and stuff like that. So it's an impact. And also I ask you, does the current amount of water fulfill your need of water? And most people told me no, so it's important to find new sources of water. And I did an interview in March with a Slough water director, the utility, And so she explained me what was going to happen if the drought continues. So what are the solutions? One of the easiest solutions can be water conservation. We can use less water for anything. Like I've asked also in the survey, what can you do? People said take shorter shower, don't water the lawn, don't wash the car, some stuff like that. But there is also impact that you can put, like if you have plants. So this is called thalia. That's something that you put around your tree, and when it's rain, the rains come and goes down to the middle of the plant, and then it's keep near the roots, the water, and when it's warm, the water comes up and keep under it, and then goes down to the earth and so it's pretty helpful to keep the water just for the plant, and also it doesn't make grass around it, so that's helpful because the grass won't use water. And this is another solution for water conservation. It's called polliter. This little stuff you put with the dirt of your plant, and when you water the plant, it will get bigger. So that's without water, that's with water, and it will affect like a sponge. And also in it there is minerals that are like fertilizer for the plant. So that's things that are really helpful, and they are keeping near the roots of the plant. The other solution is recycled water. That is a schema of what happened with the recycled water. So you have the treatment plant that treats the water and then put back in the system. Actually, the problem is that most of the recycled water goes to the river or the stream, and so maybe something to impact is improving this part, and so that you have more in the cities. They are using it, but it needs to be improved. That it will be really helpful. Then we have capturing the rain. I've seen something in LA. It's LA storm capture. They do something here, but it's not the same stuff. But this one I found really interesting. So when it's raining, the rain goes into a cistern, and then this cistern will keep all the water. That then you can use it for watering your lawn, or if you want, you can use it for washing your car, stuff like that. And this one is really helpful because it's connected. If there is a storm, it knows that it's full. It will put the water down on the little stream if you have near your garden, or in the aquifer under, and then it can help for groundwater. So, and also it's connected to the other system, so it's pretty helpful to prevent also flood. Another solution is fog collection. So that's big net that you put on top of the hill, and then when the fog coming in, then it will catch the water that is in the fog. It has been tried in Los Osos. The problem is that they tried that during the drought, and because with the drought the fog had less water, and so it wasn't helpful for them, and it wasn't as efficient. But a good one that could be efficient of like 40 meters square, so 20 by 20, it will be it will use around it will capture per day 200 liter. Also, something that could be good is new dams and reservoir. So that's Lopez Lake, the dam that they did in '69. It's still the same one of today. So when I asked the question, most people told me that they wanted a new dam. So the thing is, maybe for looking into long term, maybe building new, because those dams have been built last century, and so maybe some of the beginning of the century, some at the end of the century, but that wasn't needed it was in 50 years, and so maybe in 100 years we need to have more water because there is more people, and more people are using more water, so we need to find other sources of water. And the last one that I find is desalinization. That's Diablo Canyon. They have a desalinization plant that is connected to the ocean. This desalinization plant is really good. So you take the water from the ocean, you take out the salt by a process, and then you put it, you can drink it. They drink it and they use it for their nuclear plant. And they are trying now, maybe in 1 year, 2 years, depends if the drought continue, they are going to connect that to the 5-city water system. And so it will maybe really helpful for it and help Lopez to a little bit refill. And so that's maybe something that could be good and that will impact you directly, maybe 2 or 3 years. So that's a really good solution that I find. And what would happen if the drought continue? As I told you, if Lopez goes under 20%, a new water cut will occur maybe in the fall. So maybe that will impact you. Also, maybe they are with a new water cut, they will say, oh, maybe you are not allowed to water your lawn or wash your car, some stuff like that. It will be worse than it is. Also, if it continues, new sources of water will be developed more because they are going to think we need to get in it and find new source of water. And also maybe groundwater would be added at the city. I don't know, maybe. And the worst would be that they put water that for drinking, and then you use like maybe groundwater just for taking shower, stuff like that. That would be like one of the worst cases. That's a picture of the Slope Creek. How to prepare for another drought in the Slow County. So the thing is that with the drought, you had habits to use less water. Maybe take 5-minute showers, or maybe not watering the lawn, or maybe not using so much water when you do the dishes. Those habits are good. It would be good if you keep it during the drought, after the drought, because it will help you for another drought, because climate is changing. Believe it or not, it's changing. So you will have those droughts are going to be more frequent and more hard as it was. So it's important to keep those habits. Maybe recycled water will be used more efficiently. Also, the desalinization process maybe can be good. They did that in other cities like in Santa Barbara, also near San Diego. So it's really going to be maybe one of the new sources of water. They're using a lot in Middle East where they don't have a lot of water but a lot of money. So maybe that's something that could be really good for us in the future. And also, when you have a yard, maybe think about taking a drought-tolerant plant, because they will use less water. It will cost you maybe more when you buy it, but when in the long term, you will use less water for them, and they will be helpful for the lake, for the drought. The drought doesn't happen. That is Laguna Lake. It was the situation in 2014, and that's the 2016 situation after the El Nino event. So we can see that it had already filled some of the little lakes, but the problem is that if the drought is still continuing, they're going to go back to the same situation. So my conclusion for this project is that drought, I think, will be the major problem in the 21st century, major conflict, because there is more people and more people need water, so it would be a real impact. So we need to find solutions now for the future. Also, this drought was really hard. I just saw during a year, so I was like really impressed when I arrived here. I was so like all the hills brown and stuff like that. I was like, oh, what is going on? Or like when my housemate told me, oh, you need to put a bucket under your shower before when it's cold. So some stuff like that really impacted me, and I didn't think about it first. I knew that something was occurring in California in the news, but I really didn't think that it was like that. And please keep these habits that you took during the drought. It will be helpful for you for the future, and also it will be cheaper for you if you use less water. And also, I think the city need to really focus to find new solution of water, and that it will help them for the future and to use less water. That's it.
Cool. He'll take questions, and I'm gonna I'm going to give double dots for questions just to encourage people.
They have Kit Kats.
And also he's given chocolate, so lots of reasons to ask questions.
So let's start from the right and to the left.
You can do the dots for me.
So did you ever
So double
experience any kind of drought or anything at all in France or wherever?
In Switzerland, we don't. We have a lot of water. We said that we are like the reservoir of Europe because we have a lot of stream. So I didn't have any drought in Switzerland. So I was really, what was the drought I've seen in books or stuff like that. I really wanted to find what it was.
Although the glaciers are retreating.
Yeah, they are retreating, but we have still water. Maybe in few years, they said maybe in 50 years, that's no more water from the glaciers. Maybe it will impact. Michael?
If we create a new reservoir system, where
Yeah.
would that water come from? Like, how would we fill that?
That's the thing. So you can think maybe, if we think about it, if the Lopezek is really down, maybe you create a little new dam, like further, and then you build a new one but like bigger, then it fills more water, but it needs to rain. So that's the thing. Also, there is agreement for the Slough County with the Nascimento Lake. So maybe taking some more from Nascimento that has a bigger capacity than Lopez. So maybe it's from there. Yes?
What inspired you to report about the drought?
So I needed to do a report with Switzerland, and first I was thinking, and the thing was I was thinking what to do before I arrived. And when I was in the airplane trip before arriving from Phoenix to here, and I saw all the hills brown, I was like, what is going on? Or like when I walk into the little forest or stuff like that, it was all sand or maybe dirt. So I found really interesting to find it and maybe focusing on what is it, how it has become so bad now, and when it should end. So I find those questions really important for me. Oh, yeah.
With the solutions for the drought, did you ever look into seeding the clouds, like where they go and take the planes up and they drop something into the clouds and make the rain fall earlier?
I didn't look about that, but the problem is that the thing with the meteorological, I think, it's not so, they are not sure 100%. Like they said a long time during September, October, November, El Nino is going to be really bad. There is a lot of flood, we need to be ready for a flood, and look what happened. So I think maybe it will be more sure to have other sources. I find for myself the best solution would be desalinization, and for here it will be really helpful because desalinization, like in Diablo Canyon, it's cheap because it's the water that is used with the electricity to make it is used from the desalinization plant. So I find for here it will be more desalinization. Yes?
Do you think the drought was caused by global warming or human pollution?
So I think for myself that pollution impact more global warming, and that global warming has impact on the drought, how it is bad. But I know that drought has happened before, not as bad as this one, or maybe some more in the last century. So I think it will impact and get it more frequent. And so that global warming is also a major source of problem because it creates also flood in other parts of the world. There's also all El Nino that I spoke more about my research paper. I think that global warming make El Nino and La Nina worse. I think more for here. And also it puts the glaciers, it melts the glaciers and the Antarctica. Other question? Yes, isn't it?
How long will you think it will take for to recover from the drought, even if we were to conserve and have more rain off?
So the thing is that I've seen like when it rained a lot, I've seen like it rained days and days. It's really hard to know because like for Salinas Reservoir, Santa Margarita, first they need to put the water out before closing the dam because they need to send water to Salinas. So it's pretty hard. I've seen like it goes like 0.5% of the capacity of Lopez when it's raining like from the like early in the morning and up to the evening. That goes up, but actually it's going down. So if it's not, it's pretty hard to know like how to fill in, because I've seen when they built the Lopez, they said, oh, it will take years that it fill in. They had the big rains and it went all the way up. So it's pretty hard to find really when it will end.
You might have noticed on the graph you showed of Lopez Lake, can you go back to that?
Yes, sure.
Even despite the rain we had this winter, we were hoping it would be above average rainfall this winter. It was actually kind of an average year.
Yeah.
You guys don't even know what average is, because all you've known is drought pretty much through your teen years. There it is. Look at the last little bit.
So
That tiny uptick is from all the rain we had this winter. So it took all that rain just to kind of level it out, Vicente, if that shows you. So I think most meteorologists say we would need several years in a row of very heavy rainfall, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
here you can see the warm temperature of November that went down.
Yeah.
And you can see January where they were thinking, oh, it's good, it's going to be a lot of rain.
Barely.
Then you have February where it was warm, we
Yeah.
get 90
We
sometimes.
barely raised it at all.
And then March a little bit some rain, and now it's going down.
Yeah.
So, and maybe they are thinking to go like down to here in
Yeah,
the fall.
well, you can see the trend there, yeah. Lopez used to be a beautiful lake, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Do you think that El
Nino?
El Nino?
Yes.
Do you think it will happen? And if it does, do you think it will get us out of this drought?
I don't think that now it will happen. I thought it was more during winter. Maybe next year, but it's pretty hard to know. And those last years, it was pretty bad how they said, and now it doesn't happen. So it's difficult to really know about it. Maybe next year. I hope so, for you. Yes, Corey?
When you were talking about socioeconomics,
Yeah.
about that type, and you were saying how people have been losing jobs because
Yeah.
of the drought, what type of jobs have
So-
people been losing?
I've seen that in here. I asked them the same question that you asked me. They said it doesn't impact here so much for losing jobs. It's more seasonal jobs that in the Central Valley. I've seen that they lost like 10,000, some stuff like that, because you don't have like you cannot take the food out because there is not enough. So the people up in the farm said, oh, we don't need to hire that many jobs, that many workers. So maybe those that are impacted more. Or maybe the county water directors that were before the drought and didn't plan enough, maybe. Yes?
For the distillation, did you say most of the water was coming from the ocean from that?
For desalinization.
Yeah.
So you take the water from the ocean, you do it with a process, and then you take out all the salt from it, and then you put back some minerals, and then you can drink it. So it's what is the process, and so all the water comes from the ocean, and some of them is put back into the ocean, and so that's one of the problems of desalinization, is that sometimes you give back water without salt, maybe for the environment inside the ocean that is bad. Other questions?
I have one other.
Yeah.
So you were talking about fog collection
Yeah.
and how it's not really working because they tried it in Los
Los
Osos.
Osos.
But since we're closer to the ocean and like we have kind of more liquid in the air, do you think fog collection would be better like here compared to Los Osos?
Here, the thing is that fog collection works well. I've seen in Morocco, they said about it, because it's hill up the ocean. So I think maybe like, maybe in more, yeah, in Los Osos the thing is that they have heavy fog usually. It's worked well. Here, maybe the thing is that also then after you have problem with the environmental organization, because they said, oh, it's not nice for the coast.
You think it's ugly? That's held back wind power too. There are places that are really good for wind power.
Yeah.
Where residents don't want windmills, they think they're ugly.
Yeah. So maybe here, I don't know where they will put it, because you won't put that on the beach, and there is not so much fun on the beach, so maybe more in Los Osos.
And
It was,
yeah, it works best on hills, and that's right where people see it, and people don't like to see it.
yeah.
It doesn't generate a lot of water either, Corey, that's the problem. It's not a big solution.
Cheyenne,
What were you most surprised by about the job?
most surprised? First it was all the yard. So, like when I was working with the dog, I saw like the yard or you have fake grass. Then I was like, what? Like because in Switzerland it's always rain because it's rained too much. We can say maybe. And so here I was really surprised of the yard, and also I was really surprised of people that like during the weekend like were taking out all the grass and put sand or like stones really to help. So I find really interesting. I've seen like in the neighborhood they did that during the weekend. I find really nice what they did. I also took some picture, like I was working with the dog and took a picture of the yard and running away. Yes, Michael?
So you say the drought's not as severe in the north of California, so do you know of any solutions or plans to bring some of that water down south?
So if I go back to the map here, we can say, I know that a lot of big lakes are in the north, or you have the San Luis reservoir that is not in the San Luis Obispo County, it's more over here. And there's a lot of aqueduct all down that goes all down to LA or even more south to San Diego. That takes the water from the north down to here. And so that's a process that they did it. It's good, I find it, but like if you go to LA, I've been during spring and it's like really down, or even like in spaces where they put like the reservoir and there is no water in it. So it will be good for LA or stuff like that. It will help them to not be in the drought. So the problem for here is that we are not connected outside of the county by any stuff. Austin?
How does the fog collection actually work?
So you have a big net with little little cable, and so when the fog came in, then it's like you have seen a spider net. If you see in the morning and it has like little rain of the morning, and it has drops on it. So it work like that and then you have something that collect down here when the water goes down, because and then it went up and then you can put in the water system. They did that in Morocco and it works well, because they can collect like for like a lot of liters, but it's also they collect more during winter and less during summer. So it could be good, but maybe not so much for here. But like in Morocco, it's really helpful in the middle of the desert. So, you wanna ask me? Is there more question now?
Is that good? Good.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Max. Good job. So Max would make a good teacher, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Just a suggestion, Max.
Yeah.
We need good teachers. You guys only have 10 minutes to study for the exam. A couple things before we do that. There's flashcards here. If you want to take flashcards home, please just sign them out.
Oh,
So I'm going to say Cold War exam flashcards. Just make sure you sign them out if you're going to take them home. Another good strategy on the back table are extra blank sheets. Another good strategy are the extra blanks. Go home and just take the test tonight. Do the 50